We are back to the warehouse for Blitzball Battle 6. Team Baggage, more like Team Badgage. Let's talk Blitzball. Oh, shit. Welcome to the Blitzball Boys, a podcast about Blitzball and boys, but lately about Blitzball. I'm your co-host, Brendan Ruppel, along with my fellow host, Peter Del Rey.
Hey, Brendan.
Hey.
As we're nearing the end of the regular season.
We're ending the near of the regular season.
We're ending the near of the regular season. We got quite a lot to talk about, more so next episode once it's actually over. But
keep this one to a tight five.
Tight five. We got two teams who finally scored their first runs. One of them got their first win.
Oh, stay tuned to find out.
And maybe that's going to lead to an explosion of one team in a good way. But before we get into all that, Brendy, how about you burn this motherfucker?
God, we're really getting right into it. It's like we got dinner to eat or something.
Oh.
Team Badgage takes on Rotten as Trevor looks to see if he's still forgotten how to hit. Jimmy starts on the mound, and this unk has some funk. He gets 2 outs after only giving up 2 runs, but somebody learned how to hit. Like a middle-aged man with a heart condition, Coach Trev has himself a pair of ribeyes, and Rotten puts a 5 spot on the board. Shelfie on the mound for Rotten, and much like me at my wedding night, he just can't find it. Baggage scrapes across 3, and they have a pulse. Jake on the mound now, and he must have been on a plane with Jack Shepard recently because he looks lost out there. Walks and sloppy defense cost Baggage another 4 runs, and they're down 9-3. And Trev's head is back to being the same size as Dusty's, and there's no stopping him now. Back-to-back Ks end the game, and Forgotten Rotten sends Team Baggage to the playing game. Yikes.
That burn felt forced, Brendan. It felt like you were trying to really push some jokes in there that you would not naturally said. You doubled up on Badgage, which I did not like.
That was not written. I just liked saying Badgage.
Bad.
Peter?
Bad Din Ruppel.
What you didn't realize is that entire burn was actually very good.
Let me take a look at my notes one more time. No, sucked ass. So, Will.
That was in your notes?
Those are my notes, dude.
Sounds like I had no chance.
I said, Brendan will have a bad burn.
Tough crowd.
We knew this was going to be a get-right game for one of these two teams, right? I don't know about you going into it. I kind of had a feeling that it was going to be more like... The expectation of mine was Baggage was going to get right here, not so much Forgotten Rotten because they seem to have forgotten how to play Blitzball well before this game.
Shit.
But it's the exact opposite happened, you know? I mean,
yeah.
I think if I'm not mistaken, most of Baggage's runs came off of walks, which is like kind of not indicative of your batting skill.
Right.
Jimmy had 0 hits, which is pretty huge for him, while Forgotten Rotten in total had 8, which is kind of fucking sick.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I feel like I was feeling the vibe of the Baggage team today, and from the get-go, they just didn't seem like they were going to do anything. They just looked sad, and maybe the vibe comes from Jimmy, especially when he looks really sad.
Right.
You can just tell he doesn't have any confidence. He just doesn't feel himself. It just wasn't going to happen. And then you needed Jake to take over, who had a couple hits. I think he had a decent knock in there, but still was struggling. One. There's the knock. But like really, really struggled everywhere else.
Yeah.
And he said no one wants to do that. No one wants to go out on the mound and completely shit the bed. But sometimes you just don't have it. And today was one of those days.
Today was one of those twos.
Yeah.
First top of the inning, Trev. It's really funny. You don't usually see batters get the best of specific fielders too often, but Trev was bullying the shit out of Jake in this game.
Yeah.
I think he had 4 of his hits were hit to Jake where Jake couldn't make the play of varying difficulties. You know, some of them he probably should made the play. Others he had no chance at all.
Yeah, I think maybe the very first one was like maybe makeable. Then he just kept hitting him harder and harder at Jake, then over Jake. There's like, obviously the one that like was a dribbler to him later on, different. But he was just. It's almost like he could have put the ball anywhere he wanted, but he just wanted to like abuse Jake instead.
So you just take a look at the numbers from this game. Trev has 5 hits, 4 singles, and a double. Like you could be like, oh, maybe Trev is like back. He's like gearing up. But then you have the counterpoint of, you know, some of those plays if, say, Zoe or Drew or somebody else who's like got a fielding pedigree is standing there. Are those hits or are those outs? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll talk about that later on. They end up getting the max in the first inning, with Trev hitting the ball at Jake to end it. That one was one of the ones where like Jake had no chance of making a play there, but like only one run came off of a walk from Jimmy. He had a full-on meltdown on the mound, which is unfortunate, not fun to see.
I mean,
Everybody,
he really wasn't that bad in the. He said it to himself. He's like, I felt really good up there. He was just up against Trevor, who decided to be himself again out of nowhere. He got some good
Shelby
counts.
had a great eye.
Yeah, really great eye. I think there's only a couple teams, like other teams, maybe like half the other crop would have struck out against Jimmy, and maybe he would have come out unscathed or like with 2 or 3 runs maybe, because he got to 2, like I said in the good burn,
Bad burn,
good burger.
bad burn.
What was I talking about?
You're talking about how you're gonna shut up.
Anyway, back to you. No, Jimmy, like he looked good and his stuff was there. He wasn't like completely wild, which is like usually what happens when people do meltdown. The knuckleball was knuckling and was like a good chase pitch, and that was one of the ones that Shelfie just
in
was
the first inning.
There were there were some that were like nasty and some that were takeable.
He really put it together in the second inning for sure, though.
Yeah.
The knuckle, but like Jimmy in second inning
Some
was like
nuts.
a different pitcher, totally different pitcher.
But like I think this game, like honestly, like you would think going into this, like that Jimmy outing would get Trevor, but it will come up somehow instead. But I think this team and We Got Ice would definitely be like all over these pitches too because they're slow enough. But the Funk, I think, would get a lot of other people.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Shelfie's a pretty patient hitter. We've seen that in the past. Trev, Trev starts off patient. If you start to get him out quickly, though, then he starts to get a little antsy, which is not the case here. They did strike him out once, and they got Shelfie to pop up relatively early for the first out. But after this, it was entirely rotten after the first inning. I mean, I legitimately thought the bottom of the first was going to be a 4 batter inning because it was like a walk. Shelfie threw a walk first one. He was like unintentionally head hunting Jake. Ends up walking him. Then Jimmy pops up for an easy catch. Then Jake strikes out, and it got to a point where I was like, "Oh fuck! Is this it?"
Yeah, it felt like
Jimmy
especially even
walks,
after the 5, and like these guys have to put up numbers against 2 really good pitchers.
Right. Then Jimmy walks. Then Jake hits one off the back wall, and I was like,
all
"Okay,
right, we're cooking here. If they get 5,
okay." They didn't. They got 3.
Yeah.
2 of them were off walks after
Which
this.
was like,
Trevor
they're still
walked
alive.
in a
But...
run. Yeah, they walked in after that double. They walked 1, 2, 3 in a row. Then Jake had an incredible at bat where he just kept fouling the ball off. My notes here says Jake keeps getting a piece of Trev's pitches.
Yeah.
But he just can't seem to hit one fair. Then there was a full count. Then Jake is staying alive like I've never seen before, but he taps one easy to Trev, and that ends the inning. 5-3 going into the second, and
you always hope
never...
those at-bats like end with the hitter winning.
Right.
Usually, I feel like a lot of times it does because you see it more, and that would have been a big momentum shift if he was able to get through that. You know.
Yeah, if he would, but he didn't. So
he did not.
Stinker.
Yeah. So now you're ready for Jake to get in there and shut it down, and that sound effect applies to what happened also.
Which one?
Good question. You pick.
Oh, this one.
That's good too. Yeah, you needed Jake to come in there and be the new version of himself that he's been. That is just like dotting that low and away corner with that sidearm T-Rex pitch, and he just didn't have anything today. And he was getting frustrated with himself, and then that usually just makes things worse in general.
Yeah, how crazy is that? How many times have we seen Jake get this? Like, it was Jake when he gets frustrated, he typically gets like a showy frustrated. Whereas like you're kind of like, is he just playing this up for the camera? This was very clearly he was in his own head.
Yeah.
Where he like when he took himself out, he was like, "Geez, I need a break. I just need a break."
Yeah, because sometimes when you're like, I genuinely don't know what I'm doing wrong, and I'm getting pissed off now because we were still in this game, and he had been good with this new windup and arm slot since it started last season, and this is the first time it's really blown up in his face. And like, you'd obviously rather just get hit like crazy than what happened.
Yeah. I mean, it was what? Double first pitch that Jake threw. Shelby hit for a double. Then it was
3
walk,
walks in a
walk,
row,
walk. Yeah,
and
one of them was a
and then took
5-pitch
himself out.
walk.
He didn't even ask
I
Jimmy.
even
He's
wrote
like,
in
just like,
here.
here you go, take this.
Yeah. Jake looks like he's struggling bad, is what
Yeah,
I wrote in
yeah.
my notes. Then Jimmy came in, and this is where we talked about Jimmy was like being nasty because that first at bat against Shelby was ridiculous. I don't think anybody in the warehouse stood a chance with that one. But then he starts to get tagged, hit for a double, the tapper that you talked about to Jake before, who couldn't
Just
make the
crushing.
play, and that was a run. Then he strikes out Trevor. Then Jake comes back in, and I was like, "Ooh, are they going to get to 10 here?" Because they had already gotten to 9.
Put their face in it.
And they didn't. Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
they didn't.
That error was crushing though, especially in multiple ways because now you're at a point where you need to cut the lead in half before they get 2 outs. That whole rule of like tying up the game when you're further away than 5 runs,
right?
Just tough, and just like extending the lead is always going to be a good thing, obviously. But now you're also wasting bullets that Jimmy has too, who has been throwing harder than he's ever thrown in the warehouse. Which he was like, going over 70. He was topping out at 69 a lot and like really looking good. He said his arm felt the best it's like ever felt. And he threw a ton of pitches. I think they said in the broadcast the most pitches he's ever thrown in the warehouse in a single game,
Since
which is
B1.
bad when you lose this badly because now he said it himself. He's like, I'm not going to throw this hard next game for sure. So it feels like a completely wasted effort.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, hopefully they don't go out in the play-in. That would really stink. But
like,
we'll see.
These baggage recaps always turn into like me talking about it from the point of view of baggage, but I just can't help myself. Like I should be giving more flowers to Plouffe for hitting. Good for him. But I guess you expected this to happen at some point.
We will. We'll give it to him. We might get a duck again. Who knows? Then we have rotten pitching, bottom of the second. And this is where you sit here and you're like, okay, Trevor's pitching. He's shown that he's not perfect. So it definitely could, like they could do something here. Jimmy and Jake hit the ball well.
Yeah.
Jimmy's fighting off pitches from Trevor. It looks like he's way behind Trevor. He can't like get solid contact on it. One of them, he just like parries it away and then turns it. Double birds Trev, which was hysterical. Really I can't believe Jimmy in the mindset he was in at the time of like just total
still able
like
to joke.
Had the wherewithal to be able to make a joke like that.
I think he realized how ridiculous it was because it was a fucking dirty pitch and he just like blocked it.
He was just like, no,
nope.
Don't want to deal with it.
No, I don't want you to have that.
Yeah. That was very funny. Then Jake, he strikes out. Jake gets up. Strike out. You want to know a secret?
Tell me.
Rude secret. Very rude secret. I wrote the note that Jake is out and that's the end. Big K to end that shit before the at bat was over.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's how like it really felt like
that,
he had no chance at all. Rotten wins.
He was sad on the mound. He sad in the field. Sad at bat. That baggage was just full of sadness and tears the whole game. Yeah, just bad.
No, I don't want.
Oh, it's okay.
Shut up. Shut up.
Who's that?
That's
Who is the shut up guy?
That's Chris Rose.
Oh, okay.
Shut your fucking mouth.
Chris Rose and Dusty are one of my favorite comedy teams.
Hate Dusty.
Love Dusty.
Hate Dusty.
He asked Dusty if he does bar mitzvahs. He does it's expensive. I mean, it's only funny because of Chris Rose.
No, he said you got to pay me.
I don't like the duck being the period on a sentence.
What? Duck is ever present, dude.
Yeah, I guess
ever present. Fans, do you like the duck as the period? See,
fans, do you like Dusty and hate Peter? Yeah. I had a feeling that was gonna happen.
That's what happens, Brendy. You gotta listen to the fans. Fans want duck.
Fans love Dusty. I thought it wasn't even gonna get crickets. I was like, wow.
Yeah, the crickets even hate Dusty. Scared ya. But this game, Trevor was bullying Jake. We already talked about it in the field. He was bullying Jake, period, just at every chance he could. I really respect Jimmy. I don't respect Jake at all. At every single chance that he could. It was great. The
Love Trevor
fans,
Plouffe.
the fans switching sides, I'm over it. It's happened in every single game,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think the joke is dead. Joe's
Officially.
them putting on the Talking Guts or Playing Guts shirts, and Joe's being like, "What the fuck? I'm on that team," was hysterical.
He didn't know what to do with himself. Like he's like, I guess I'll just stand here
Did you
looking
notice
confused.
Did you notice that Joe's switched sides at the very end?
I did see at the very end, yeah.
That cracked me up
Yeah.
because he was baggage the whole time, and then the
Wearing
second
the tiniest baggage jersey that could fit on him, which was
the
so funny.
second they switched sides, the second that it was like, oh, baggage lost, he was on Rotten's side. Cracked me up.
Yes.
Absolutely
He did a
cracked
good
me
version
up.
of it. Joe's on
Good
the
version
sidelines
of it.
was great. He was this is not body shaming by any means because the body thing was the joke.
I don't
but
think it is.
Yeah, I guess when you start like that. He was looking like Dr. Eggman. I liked the look. It was very funny.
Wow.
The pants were a little high.
Dr.
Shirt was
Ivo
tight.
Robotnik.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It was funny. It was funny. He's funny.
Nope. Yeah, he's funny.
He's a funny guy.
But laughing at his body is not funny. Player of the game.
Player of the game.
Were you at Drowned Lands this weekend?
No, I wish.
Oh. Nicole just posted a picture of her with the cup, I guess. The glass. And I was like, that's
maybe
weird.
she's there now. She's gonna miss dinner.
Where's my wife?
Where's my wife? She's drinking 2 hours away by herself.
I miss my wife.
I miss my wife.
You know who knows where their wife is at all times? My player of the game, Trevor
Wow.
Plouffe. Wow. Here you go, Trev. Good job. Good joke, Pete. Thank you very much. Trevor, I'm giving it to him like as I teased a little bit earlier for getting it going.
Yeah.
Like I said, some of those balls, if it hit to Drew Davis or hit to Zoe or Jack or something like that, might be outs. But guess what? They fucking weren't. And he's learning again how to get the barrel on the ball. He's hitting. He got a double. You can't fake a double. You can get lucky on a single. Can't get lucky on a double.
You can't.
You know, so Trev's getting it going. He seems like he's pitching really well against two guys who I know they haven't hit this tournament, but historically are, average to above average hitters. You can't really single out like the walks because everybody was walking everybody in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that be due to like good eyes from the batters or just bad pitch location, not really sure. There were definitely times where it was bad pitch location for sure. I mean, I could think of a couple,
but
like
there's still enough
Shelfie
movement on them where it's still difficult.
and Jake didn't do well, whereas Trev and Jimmy were a lot closer and just more patient batters. 7 at bats, 4 singles, 1 double, pretty huge. 5 RBI, 2 strikeouts. Good job, Trevor.
Good job,
He deserves it.
Trevor.
Good job, Trevor.
Oh, I love Trevor.
Oh, I love goal.
Oh, I love him.
You don't have nothing to add?
No.
Usually this is where you add something.
No, I can't. Because there's a certain sound effect that you need to play after I play this sound effect. But you have to say something first. There's a lot that needs to happen right now.
Well, I don't know.
All right.
Play of the game.
Play of the game. Now hit it, Pete. It's a duck of the game. Game.
Duck of the game.
My play of the game.
The duck of the game is brought to you by Subtlety.
No, it's not.
I
I'm
guess
gonna get in
not.
serious trouble and get fired if I do that.
Oh, you're not, you plug them every single episode.
Trevor Plouffe was player of the game. Now he has the play of the game, hence the duck of the game. If you've been with us since last year, you know this is the thing that happens here. Is this the second duck of the game this season?
For this tournament, yeah. And I think the last one was last game.
Yeah. They're on a duck roll. Duck royalty. Trevor's hit, his double, is what I deem the play of the game because, kind of like you're saying, you can't fake a double. It's not bullshit. It's a real hit. And that proves that he is on track to be himself again. Maybe next game, homer. But I think it was like a high and away pitch that he pulled against the back wall. Maybe even on a knuckleball.
Tomahawked.
It was. Yeah, he put on his big DK mitt and punched it. It's just
That was
it's
so
a good sign.
good.
This is what I do
That
in my
was
spare
so
time.
good.
I was just
That's
playing that game this
crazy.
weekend too, so I have a leg up on you.
That's crazy. You
Trevor?
didn't even need to prepare your body. You just did it.
It's eerily similar to my Scooby Doo though.
Go ahead.
Ruby.
That's
Similar.
also very good.
I learned that from Gunnar Henderson.
Ruby. How's that?
That was way better than mine.
Ruby dooby doo. Oh my goodness.
Zoink,
Speaking
Scooby.
people. Zoinks, my dear Scooby. Brendan, was I singing songs in a Cockney accent with you last week?
Definitely.
Or was that with somebody else?
No, that was here.
That's so funny. I don't know if it was on the pod. It was definitely with you.
I think it was partially in the pod, maybe a little bit off too. We got wild on here. No wonder our numbers are through the roof. Subscribe.
Subscribe, comment, share.
Yeah, duck the game. Do you agree? It wasn't a great like play. I almost gave the Jimmy's block in the middle finger the play of the game, but we talked about it too much, so I pivoted.
Yeah. No, I
That'd be a
think
very
it was
Brendan play of the
definitely. I think it was definitely the play of the game because it was like you said, like the singles kind of cheap is the wrong word, but they kind of felt cheap.
And they can be.
Whereas the double
It was a real knock. It was a real knock.
if he can maintain that kind of barreling on the ball, then he's back, and
Yeah.
then everybody's worried.
I
But
think he's realizing that in blitzball, as opposed to baseball, which is where he's from, you can kind of
Yeah.
just get away with C-ball, hit ball. And because the bat's so light, you can kind of get it anywhere. You're not going to ever be behind the ball for the most part. Like it's
right.
you see it if it's way out there, but you feel like you have a good read on it. Just fucking swing at it, even if it's like a foot off the plate. Just go for it.
Yes, I agree. Good job, Trevor. Now, time for the rudest segment of the day,
Oh my god.
where I talked to you about this a little bit before we started recording. My takeaway from this game, fully, and like this is a hard stance I'm going to take. So, and I'll own it if I'm wrong. My big takeaway from this game is that neither of these teams are going to win the tournament.
Oh yes. Okay.
They're
You did talk.
very, very entertaining game, very entertaining teams, whether they win or lose. Like, I love watching them. I don't think either of these teams are good enough unless they make a huge turnaround, like before the next game. I don't think either of these teams are good enough to win the
Yeah.
whole thing or even to make the championship.
I think that Rotten is, but surprisingly, right now the issue is Shelfie because that's not what we thought was going to be the case going into this season. We thought like, well, Trev's really got to figure it out. He showed us that he's starting to. The pitching has not been a problem in like years almost. It's been like rock solid for a long time now.
Yeah.
Shelfie still looks decent at the plate. He had some tough at bats later in the game that would have worried me a little bit, but I think he can always surprise you and be like, oh shit, I forgot that guy can like rake.
Yeah, he could, but at the moment, like
Not awesome.
you now have one game to put it together, and if you can't put
Yeah.
it together, and that's why this was such an important get right game.
Well,
right?
the bigger issue was the walks. Like we said that last game too. He's got to figure it out next game. Maybe it got worse. Like there was more walks. It was just a tough product. He was saying that he had lost control of his two-seamer, which is usually his go-to pitch when he needs a strike.
His kids.
Fully lost it. His kids. He lost his kids.
He lost
If you've seen him,
control of them.
We're
He
here to
lost
let you know.
control
Like
of 'em.
keep an eye out, please.
No, he has possession of them. He just lost control of them.
They're wild childs.
They're too old now.
Yeah, they're in their 40s.
They're in their 40s. He's 23. They're in their 40s.
It's interesting.
That's what he said today.
That's what he
And
said.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
Even though,
Amazing.
like, I know this. I'm pretty sure he told us when we spoke
On the
to him
interview, he did tell us this.
that he was 23 years old, and I was like, oh.
I wasn't really that surprised then, but then like now I'm shocked. Like
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, Shelfie Shelfie needs to all of a sudden in the playoffs now just remember how
Start
to
playing
pitch.
off.
Playing off. Which
You
he
gotta
can
start
do. Which
playing off.
it's not impossible.
He can. It's true, but
I have a lot more faith in Forgotten Rotten than you do, I think, overall.
probably. But
Shelfie
I
could
mean,
be
like,
amazing in the playoffs.
if you look at the other teams in this tournament, like the Woogas, who have played one game, granted, I have more faith in them turning it around in the game that's coming out next than I do Forgotten Rotten turning it around before the playoffs.
I think that Forgotten Rotten has a higher ceiling talent-wise than Woogas does.
Yeah, sure, they have a higher ceiling, but they need to put it together.
Yeah. But I think
Whereas,
that they have such. I'm scared of Dan Rourke. We haven't seen their second regular season game, but I'm scared of Dan Rourke on the mound still.
that's fine. Shelfie, until like they got some meatballs from Jake and Jimmy, Shelfie and Trev weren't hitting.
Yeah.
And even like Trev got some fortuitous defense that led to him hitting.
Right.
So like I don't know, like you need to do both sides. And I don't know if they're going to be able to do it, especially if Shelfie keeps pitching the way he was pitching today or in this game.
Yeah. I'm interested. I fully understand what you're saying, but I watched this game and I was like, shit, Forgotten Rotten's going to win the championship this year. I had the complete opposite thought when I watched this game.
Really?
And you've convinced me. I'm coming back towards you a little bit now.
I still think We Got Ice is like very clearly ahead of everybody
I would
else.
think that they are, but I'm just afraid of their track record with what they do.
They have a really shitty playoff track record.
Yeah, they do. I'm excited for them to prove us wrong. I think
prove me wrong
of the year. But yeah, Baggage is they're washed. I'd be amazed if they win a playoff game in the playoffs, including. There's no way they're getting out of the play-in game.
They're not getting out of the plane.
They're not getting out of the plane.
The plane game. Sorry, guys, you're not getting out of the plane game. Brendan, next game is Jolly Olives versus Woogas.
Mm-hmm.
What are you watching for?
You know what? I'll build on what I was saying before. Dan Rourke, you need to throw strikes. I know you want to so badly. I want you to so badly. You can be a beast if that crazy like 2-seam run fastball that you have there can like start in the left-hand batter's box and like nail that pipe over and over again. It's just one of the better pitches in the warehouse, and you can do it. I know you can. If you start strong, I think you will finish strong. But if you start to unravel early, it's completely a wash of an outing for you. So I want you to succeed. If Dan Rourke is good, Woogas is a real force.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Fully agree with you there. For me, the Jolly Olives, best friend of the pod, Drew Davis.
Yeah. I guess legitimately best friend of the pod.
He needs to start hitting.
He
really needs to start hitting. That's the big thing of what to watch for here. And I think this might be his best chance because he does see Jimmy more than anybody else in the warehouse.
Uh-huh.
And also, Drew is the weirdest person in the warehouse because I never know who's going to show up.
I know.
I don't think he got a very fair shake pitching last time either because he kind of came in a really dirty situation that Jolly left him in, which we've talked about. We didn't love that, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Jolly needed to get his reps. We totally understand. This is what led to us talking about how these are practice games effectively for the teams.
But did fuck with Drew coming in.
It did. It totally messed with him. His pitching needs to, I'm more confident we'll get back to normal. It's his hitting that we've seen how many times now where Drew just gets started so late with hitting. I mean, last tournament, he got started way too late with hitting, and that's what eliminated them. So that's my what to watch for is Drew Davis getting some early hits. I think if in his first at bat, he gets a non-controversial single or better, then he'll be fine.
All right. I have a lot of information from him about the pitching side of things. I can skim through some of these text messages.
I have a lot of information from him about who wins the tournament.
About who wins the tournament. I'll lay it all on the line. He said he really struggles to keep it under 70 miles per hour, essentially, and he has to take his legs out of the equation because he naturally hits 77 when he's just throwing the ball, apparently. So he went into the lab with Moylan between games 1 and 2 to try and figure out what's going on and how he can be more consistent. So we'll see if the lab with Moylan between last game and the one we're about to see if it pays off. We'll see what he does. He said there might be a new pitch to look out for as well.
Brand spitball.
He said he actually he said we can name it if we want to. So I guess we have to see it first, and then next game we'll name the pitch. No matter what it is, spitball. Okay, spitball.
No matter what it is, spitball. Even if you take a rag and you make sure it's super dry, it's a spitball.
Spitball. No matter how dry.
All right. Anyway, now I'm gonna throw the spitball.
That was almost more nonsense until it turned into words.
It was almost. Oh, I haven't done any of this.
You haven't done it. Yeah.
We're breaking the streak. I'm breaking the streak. I don't choose when to do it. It just comes to me naturally.
Yeah. Oh, I love when it just comes to you.
Brendan, if something just comes to you naturally, what should you be drinking?
if it comes to you naturally, Drink Subtle Tea is a drink made by me. You can find it at thesubtletea.com. Use code HOPPYBOYS for $2 off your order of a 12-pack. Listen to the Hoppy Boys wherever you get your podcasts, or on YouTube, type Hoppy Boys. Also, while you're doing it, just type Blitzball Boys as well, and subscribe to that channel. It's so good, so fun, so lovely.
Very exciting.
Very exciting, very dangerous, of course. Subscribe. We're killing the subscribers. We're killing the commenters. It sounds like we're murdering people. We're killing them.
Brendan's fighting with commenters.
Yeah. We're fighting with Keith.
We're fighting with
I
Keith.
love
Who's
getting to a
Keith?
fight with Keith, the commentator.
Did we say on this pod that BBD texted you after our first
I don't
episode?
think we did
Where we were
talk
like,
about
who is Keith? BBD texted Brendan after our first episode because we were like, we don't know who Keith is. And he texted him, wow, so you guys really fucking hate Keith, huh?
He did.
We don't
He
hate
called us
Keith.
out. Don't hate Keith.
We like him. We were just very confused because we had never seen this guy.
We had never seen him. We're getting acclimated by playoffs. I like him more than Dusty. I bet you.
Well, I already do because Dusty sucks.
Dusty sucks.
Unless you're talking about the American dream, Dusty Rhodes.
That's what I'm talking about. I can't believe are you ever going to turn around on Dusty? Is it just like a no mascot thing for you, no matter what? Even if
It's a
he's
no
funny and
mascot thing
awesome?
for me. It's a no mascot thing.
But he's
for
funny
me.
and awesome, you're forgetting.
No, he's not, because he's trying to be the American dream, Dusty Rhodes, with his bionic elbow, and he's gonna put you in the ground.
This is the stuff you're missing on YouTube. If you're
This
just
is the stuff
listening.
you're missing on YouTube and on
I feel like I have the
Spotify if
story
you're not
over there.
listening.
Yeah.
What?
If you're not listening at all, then you're missing all of it.
You're missing it all. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
very much
commenting.
for watching. If you're watching,
Love you.
commentate again. Pete, come on. You got to throw your
Pete,
fucking
no.
head. Comment anything you want. Brendan responds to every comment. You could see if you go on the YouTubes, he will respond to every single comment.
Embarrassingly so, yeah.
Embarrassingly so. If you want us to ask anybody questions, please. We are in contact with a lot of these guys pretty regularly. We'll get you the inside scoop. Stuff this is.
That's there.
Should I?
Should I
I'll
do my next
memorize a
burn
whole
in,
promo.
like
Like
Mike
Dusty
Tyson speak?
Rhodes. Like the American dream.
Maybe I'll try that next time.
Dusty
Maybe that'll,
Rhodes.
no matter what I write down, it'll be
You
funny.
work for a company for 30 years. They give you a watch. Hard time. That's a good one. Thank you. Thank you. Please tune back in later on. Beyond that, Brendan, ask me the question.
You got anything else you want to talk about?
Nope. Bye.
Bye-bye.